Hello grade 9 students. Today we will focus on or we will discuss about quadratic inequalities in one variable. So, how do we know that it is a quadratic inequality? You should have this form. Okay, here are the forms of quadratic inequalities that you can encounter and its corresponding solution set. So for the first one, you have ax squared plus bx plus c is greater than 0. If you encounter greater than symbol, your solution set will be x is less than r sub 1 or x is greater than r sub 2, wherein your r sub 1 is less than r sub 2. So you should know which one is less than. So that will be your r sub 1 and the greater one is r sub 2. So for the second row, you have the form ax squared plus bx plus c is less than or is greater than or equal to 0. So there is or equal. So just in a solution set, just change the symbol with or equal. So you have here x is less than or equal to r sub 1 or x is greater than or equal to r sub 2. Again, where r sub 1 is less than r sub 2. So r sub 1 is lesser and r sub 2 is greater. So for the third row, you have the form ax squared plus bx plus c is less than 0. So what will be your solution set to be used? So in this solution set, you can read this at the center. So you should read this as x is greater than r sub 1 but less than r sub 2. So you start at the middle. Again, where r sub 1 is less than r sub 2. Okay, for the fourth one, you have ax squared plus bx plus c is less than or equal to 0. So there is again or equal, but still less than. So just change the symbol in your solution set. So your solution set is x is greater than or equal to r sub 1, but less than or equal to r sub 2, where r sub 1 is less than r sub 2. So you will take down notes this table because we will use this as your guide. Okay, let's start. Okay, how do we solve the solution set of quadratic inequalities? So for example, we have x squared plus 10x is less than or equal to negative 16. So first, you will transform this into its standard form. So it becomes x squared plus 10x plus 16 is less than or equal to 0. So your negative 16 was transferred to the left side. So it becomes positive 16. Then, if it is factorable, you can factor. If not, you can use completing the square or quadratic formula. But I think this is factorable. So the factors are x plus quantity x plus 8 times quantity x plus 2 is less than or equal to 0. Then, finding the critical value, just transfer positive 8 and positive 2. So it becomes x is equal to negative 8 and x is equal to negative 2. So this will be your critical value. This will also be your r sub 1 and r sub 2. But take note, which is smaller. So the smaller one is your r sub 1 and the greater is r sub 2. So here, the smaller is negative 8. So this will be your r sub 1 equals negative 8 and r sub 2 is equal to negative 2. Then, look at the table. So we will refer to the table. So this will be our reference for the answer for this kind of quadratic inequality. So our solution set is r sub 1 is it's x is greater than or equal to r sub 1 but less than or equal to r sub 2. So just substitute your r sub 1 and r sub 2 there. So your r sub 1 is negative 8 and r sub 2 is negative 2. So just substitute. So you have there x is greater than or equal to negative 8 but less than or equal to negative 2. So simple substitution for your r sub 1 and r sub 2 in the solution set table. Okay, so this is your set notation. How do we, this is actually your final answer for set notation. But if it is required to use interval notation, you can also use interval notation. So in interval notation, we use bracket if we have or equal symbol, less than or equal. So bracket, negative 8, comma, negative 2, then close bracket. So meaning to say, negative 8 and negative 2 are included in the interval. So those two answers are correct. Just choose which one is required to be used as your answer. But you can have one as your answer if it is not stated what kind of notation. So just choose which one do you want. Okay, so next example. Okay, how do we find the solution set of quadratic inequalities for this one? So you have 2x squared is less than 21 minus 11x. So we will transfer 21 and negative 11x to make it in standard form. So you have here 2x squared plus 11x. So negative 11x becomes positive 11x at the left side. And positive 21 becomes negative 21 at the left side. Is less than 0. So if this is factorable, you may use factoring. If not, you may use completing the square or quadratic formula in a previous lesson that I discussed. So since I think this is factorable, so the factors are quantity 2x minus 3 times quantity x plus 7 is less than 0. So our critical values are, just transfer negative 3 becomes positive 3 divided by 2. So it becomes positive 3 over 2. Then for the second one, just transfer positive 7, it becomes negative 7. Okay, so these are now your critical values. But which is smaller? Of course, the smaller is negative 7. So that will be your r sub 1. Negative values are smaller than positive values. So r sub 1 is negative 7 and r sub 2 is 3 over 2. So just simple substitution in this table. The solution set, you have x is greater than r sub 1 but less than r sub 2. So substitute your r sub 1 and r sub 2 in that form of solution set. So it becomes negative 7 less than x less than 3 over 2. Or the correct way of reading it is at the center first. So x is greater than negative 7 but less than 3 over 2. So this is your set notation. Make sure that you substitute the correct r sub 1 and r sub 2. It should not be interchanged. Smaller first, then the bigger one for r sub 1 and r sub 2. And for the interval notation. So for interval notation, since there is no or equal symbol, just less than only, so we use parentheses. So that's the difference between with or equal or without or equal. So less than only, we use parentheses. So in interval notation, you have negative 7 comma 3 over 2 parentheses, not bracket. If you have or equal symbol, use bracket. If none, just less than, use parentheses. Okay. So this is how we find the solution set of the quadratic inequalities in less than or equal. So we have two already. Okay. So look for the part 2 of this lesson And I will discuss the greater than and greater than or equal. So, another two forms of quadratic inequalities that you can encounter. See you there!